Greetings, my people. Greetings, my people. This is my second recording today. Today is of course March 10th, 2024, 5:30 on the dot p.m. And I titled this one "Fixing the Cracks in the Circle." And what do I mean by fixing the cracks in the circle? As you see, my Pan African flag. So that means um, I connect with the African worldview. Um, have I ever touched the continent? No, but um, spiritually, mentally, I subscribe to African versus a Western way of looking at the world. So my view is not connected to what we see in everyday life, connected to reality, right? My view is not connected to reality. So my views are a lot different. If you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. Put it like that. So what I mean, we are African people, which means we are a circle of people. We are a circle of people. We um before the invasion of any foreigners, we weren't a confused people. We weren't a broken people. We weren't a divided people. That doesn't mean we always got along. I'm not looking at through this through some glittery eye of Africa. I understand very well. So I'm not describing a picture of perfection and fantasy. I'm talking about a simple difference of looking at reality, right? So that's what I mean when I say fixing the cracks in the circles, which represent us. Um, you know, and I'm saying like this: we are being warred upon. We're being warred upon right now. Everything in society is against us. Always has been, always will be. Does that mean other people aren't affected by poverty, things of relatability? Of course, I already said we're in their paradigm. So, of course, poverty hits everybody. If you ain't in a certain circle, square, because they square people. If you're not in a certain square, you don't fit in. So, one of our biggest wars is this so-called uh, battle of the sexes. This tired black male versus black woman, black versus and I was I was going live with somebody, or no, I wasn't on live. I was watching her live, and this was just one of those overly emotional females. Number one, um, her view has totally been destroyed of black males. So she's programmed with a certain type of hostility. Notice I said the word program. And I was talking about the Willie Lynch when she was talking about black males not being this yada 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 yada. So I said to constantly keep us at each other, the Willie Lynch, and she went off. She went off. Get Cerebral Assassin up out of here. I'm so tired of everybody keep talking about a Willie Lynch. And people so matter of factly in the comments, well, Willie Lynch it was made up. It wasn't real. It's very matter of factly. And I come in and I said, of course. I said, it's even rumored that it was written by a black man. Okay. You learn things through stories, right? Tales, urban legends. This is why we would have griots. We would have griots, storytellers. Um, and in this, let's just say, I don't know about was Willie Lynch an actual person. But if you ever, and I would suggest everybody, young brother, young sister, older, whoever, if you read it before, suspend your ego and read this. No matter if you've read it before, read it again. And read it to understand and not read it to respond against it, right? And in it, as it's given a description, and this is what I talk about when I say, I don't know who it was written by, but I'm talking about the methodology, the description of how to break us and put these cracks in this circle. You follow what I'm saying? To break this circle. Because a circle's no good once it's broken, right? A donut is no, it's no longer whole. And everybody take pieces till it's none left. If somebody slices a child hula hoop without taping it together or repairing the circle, can they use it? Right? So if you're looking at it and it says, and I usually keep it with me. Let's see. Let's see if I'm on top of my. I probably moved it. 1 second. I probably moved it. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I will read it to you. Okay. I will read it to you. I have it. And like I said, I want you to understand the opinion making. Let's use Edward Bernays and his opinion making, right? So this is opinion making before Edward Bernays, in my opinion. Whose opinion? My opinion. Because they had to give them a framework of how to not control their slaves. And remember, I said I'm getting over a little stuffiness, so forgive me if I'm coughing. Okay. Yep, I have it. Okay. Okay. Now we're gonna start off at the let's make a slave. And like I said, forgive me if I have my water. Forgive me if I cough or whatever. I'm getting through it. Okay. Let's go with let's make a slave. It was in the interest in business of slaveholders to study human nature. Mm-hmm. The slave nature in particular, with a view and practical and with a view okay with a view to practical results. I and many of them attained astonishing proficiencies in the direct in the proficiencies in this direct on. That's kind of choppy. Let me do that again. I and many of them attained astonishing proficiency in this direction. They had to deal with not with earth, wood, and stone, but with some men. By every regard, they had their own safety and prosperity. They needed to know the material on which they were to work. Conscious of the injustice and wrong, they were every hour perpetuating and knowing what they themselves would do. Were the victims of such were they the victims of such wrongs? They were constantly looking for the first signs of the dreaded retribution. So basically, that's like they were okay. Once they knew what they was about to lay down, they always are on the watch out for the Black Messiah or retribution. So, which is why every time we've had a real forward thinker, because I'm tired of this leader, forward thinker, solution oriented person, they had to go because they're always looking for retribution, for get back. They watch, therefore, with skill and practice, uh, and practice eyes and learning to read with great proficiency. The state of mind and hearts of the slave. Through this, through his sable face, usually sobriety, apparent abstractions, sulliness, and indifference indeed. Any mood out of the common was afforded grounds for suspicion and inquiry. So if you look like you were, which is why we have what we have now, such racial profile, right? Because the element hasn't changed. This is why they're always clutching their purses, because of the image uh, they've created to rationalize what they were going to do. Am I making sense? Okay. Let us make a slave. What do we need? First of all, we need a nigger man and a pregnant nigger woman and her baby. Nigger boy. Second, we will use the same basic principle that we would use in breaking a horse, combined with some more sustaining factors. What do we do with horses? Is that we break them from one life to another. That is, we reduce them from their natural state in nature. How do they break the horse? Whereas nature provides them with the natural capacity to take care of their offspring. We break that natural string of independence from them and thereby create the dependency status so that we may be able to get from them useful production for our businesses and pleasure. You hear this? Okay, and I'm getting I'm getting to where I'm going. I haven't forgotten why I'm reading this. Okay, we can speed it up. And like I said, grab a copy and read this yourself. Let me find it. Bear with me. And I'm just looking over some of the stuff that I highlighted. Okay. Fear in the young black man. I'm just looking. I'm coming back. Okay, I went too far. Okay. Okay, there it goes. After Anthony Hamilton in the background. State. This is about breaking the offspring. There is also, speaking of this, there's also a Willie Lynch book, and if I have it in this library here, I'll show it to you. On a series of testimony. And you know what I'm saying? I'm just reading over, and I could have read this in its entirety, but I don't want to get away from the message that I started out and intended. Okay. But what I'm looking for The differences. I'm looking for the differences. Okay. Oh, I know where it is. Boom. I know exactly where it is now. Okay, boom, right here. I knew exactly where it was when I slowed down to think about it. Okay, let me go back a little. And I'm getting to where I'm going. I appreciate you being patient. Whoever gonna sit through and listen. Yep. Got it right here in parentheses. Um I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves and make the differences bigger. I use fear and distrust and envy for control. Let me read that again. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves and make the differences bigger. I use fear and distrust, and we're gonna talk about distrust in both of these in this. I use fear and distrust for control. Okay. These mentioned have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies. It will work throughout the South. Take this simple list of differences and think about them. On top of my list is age, but it is only there because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade, colorism or shade. There's intelligence, size, sex, which is the topic of this, size of size of plantations and status on plantations, uh, attitude of owners, whether the slaves live in the valley, on a hill, east, west, north, south, have fine, coarse hair, tall or short. Listen to these list of differences that they use against us. And we get into the topic. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you the outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger, and distrust and envy is stronger than adulation, respect, admiration. Okay, now we're gonna stop there. This list of differences, and like I'm talking about, fixing the cracks in the circle. So these list of differences that they've used. Now this is we are generations. We're supposed to be advanced from this, right? We have new cars. We got all of this. So of course, we ain't our ancestors. Ain't that what y'all saying? We ain't our ancestors. We'll do this. We ain't our ancestors. We'll do that. Okay, so a list of differences. So fixing this, and I'm talking about this tired black male, black female argument, male versus female. And I sometimes, I look at, because I look at stuff and I be like, boom. And I'm watching Anton Daniels. And I don't know that, bro. I don't know that dude personally. But my thing is, and listen, here's the thing of when you just, when you really looking for a solution and clarity, right? It's not about liking the person. It's not about disliking the person. Right? It's not about that. But what people like Anton Daniels, his best friend, which he'll tell you, Kevin Samuels, this is what I talk about. Notice in the beginning, before I started to read the Willie Lynch, I talked about I talked about engineering consent, right? Edward Bernays. How you shift the mind of a people. But what they used in these keys to control their slaves, they used it on their people. They told their people, don't watch these blacks. Any sign of shiftiness in their eyes, any sign of aggression. This is why you have to have an Anton Daniels, right? It's not about good or bad. Remember I said this stuff is subjective on how you look at it and what you fall under. So this is really subjective. If you agree with him, that's you. But I'm tired. I'm trying to really find solutions for black females and black males. Because it's tired, because it went through all those list of this. And I'm listening to him, and though I understand what a simp is, this is what I want to say to any little brothers that are looking at this. Follow yourself, man. Because I understand what a simp is, but what we doing, we confusing the little homie so bad that we're confusing the innocence, the love, the experience with girls. Remember, I'm from the 80s, so I grew up with Mr. Telephone Man, and I probably sing like shit. But that right there, New Edition. You got to count me out. Hey, you got to count me out. I'm hanging with my girl. The way we thought about each other, the way we thought about the opposite sex. True, I can't wait to get to school each day. Some reason now all of these thoughts are simple. So, and their points of view is, I can't say all, because they say, all of us don't think like that, all of us, but we keep getting all the same results. Most of their mentalities, not about them being good or bad people, not about them being wealthy, not about this, none of that matters. None of your money matters really in this system. It's only good enough for this system. So get your bag by all means. If you're Anton Daniels, if you are, what's her name, the female version, the Princella, the Queen maker. There's a vested interest in using these differences against us, creating these cracks in the circle. There's a vested interest on keeping us at each other's throat. No, this is how they use like videos for war. If you're really looking at how they brainwash the people when they're using like MK Ultra, then what movie was that I was watching? It was a movie, I know James Marsden played in it, Disturbing Behavior. And any of these, I think they were like a mixed school, but most of them was white children. So any of these children that was out of line, they would mysteriously kind of brainwash them. Well, that ain't that mysterious about that, but they would get them in line. So their behavior was similar to like that behavior in Get Out. They would put you in this. And a lot of this, they use the images where they would have you ever seen where they'll put them in the machine and they have the eyeballs stretched open and they're playing all of these images? So that's what we're doing on another type of level. Because I find it funny that we use their tactics on us now. You follow what I'm saying? We use their tactics and depictions of us on us now. I think it was O'Shea Duke Jackson. Forgive me if I'm wrong, because I was telling one of my brothers. Somebody just asked me, what about, right on time, what about O'Shea Duke Jackson? And in these images, follow what I'm saying about the images, because images are what? Advertisements to the mind. Ba-da-da-da-da, I'm loving it. Songs and images. Images. And I was speaking about O'Shea Duke Jackson. I think it's a 5-minute video that I created about O'Shea Duke Jackson and the images he used for high value men versus slave minded men. And the images for the high value men who want to better their lives were images of white women. Now you can give what you want to the older crowd. Because if these old goofies are going to follow this, then they not fit for black women no way. But when you start to shape the opinion and the narrative for the youth, let the youth have experience. Every young man goes through heartbreak. This is where all them damn songs came from. One minute they singing, you got to count me out. Then they singing, is this the end? You know, can you stand the rain? Okay. Can you stand the rain? That talked about us. So in him saying this is what high value men subscribe to versus low men. The slave minded men were overweight women and black women. You following what I'm talking about? The images of better were the shapers of what I just read in the beginning. Because the psychological warfare has worked so bad that now we see ourselves the way our oppressors, your capturers. This is when I keep talking about Albert Bandura. This is what he's talking about when he's talking about the model, using the model and how they used it to shape the views through soap operas. And he said, what does the model do? The boy asked him, he said, the model, you begin to feel whatever the model feels. If the model likes this, you like this. If the model dislikes this, you dislike that. Which is why I said you put it together and you get role model. So Anton Daniels, and again, it's bigger but you got to start with them small fries. Because he doing what he got to do to get his bag. So it's not a bash against this brother in case this dude comes across this video. But you got to call things like it said. Because more young black men are looking to be entrepreneurs. We dealing with heartbreak every day, men of all ages. You know? And music is playing in my background. And right now the song, I think his name is Uncle Sam. And this was I think it was like 98 or something. I don't ever want to see you again. Where the girl was sleeping with his best friend. But then who was that had that song? I wish I didn't love you so much. He was creeping with his best friend's girl in that. It's the way the griots tells the story. It's the way the storyteller tells the story. So now what we have is a bunch of black male models who are armed with the image, male and female. It's not just the brothers. This is what we have to understand. That it's not just one side. And when you're able to call this down the middle, that's when we can start to move forward with solutions. But as long as you looking over here saying, men do this, you know, one thing about them men, that's how they use the Prince Seller, the Queen Maker. That's how they use, as somebody, my bro said, Cynthia G as well. Cynthia G allegedly has called for the extermination of young black boys. Allegedly. I need to hear that for myself, but I don't listen to a Cynthia G. But this was told by one of my lady friends. So this is Margaret Sanger. You see what I'm talking about? How their spirit can get into you. because you are in this paradigm. You're in this frequency. It doesn't matter your religious view. You can be Black Muslim men subscribe to the way of Anton Daniels. Some black African males subscribe. Black Christian males. It's a shared way of thinking. This is why we have so many problems in homes. This is why we have so many chiefs and not enough Indians. Because they're selling you of being this top dog, this high. What is a high value man in the system of racism, white terrorism? How does one become a high value man? And what can a high value man do in a system where he can be made a victim anytime at a stoplight? It doesn't matter how much you think. I watched I gotta get it back, but I watched a TV series on Tubi. Tubi has some good stuff. And in this, it was like these 5 black boys and girls. It was 4 boys and 1 girl. And they were kind of like, I want to say foreign exchange students. And they went to this all-white school. I'm going to find the name and come back in my next video. And the experience of being young black youth in this world. That's like the movie Them. If anybody's seen that movie Them on Amazon Prime, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, you should check it out. And what this centers around was when Compton was all white, right? The storyline for this, Compton is all white. And you have these token black families that come into these all white neighborhoods. See, look, this is what we got to understand. If we are still our ancestors, who are their ancestors? They are still theirs. Is that fair to say? They are still their ancestors. So their original way is still in them. It's not conditioned to the, it's not, let me say it like this. Because I do believe if the condition of the environment changes and it's against them, they'll revert back to their natural nature. So I can't say it's not contingent on the condition of society, if that makes sense what I'm saying. Because I think if things were to turn and they were begin to be treated like us in America, then they would come back to their established nature. But in this movie, this is when, and you get to see what the mother went through. In this movie, I saw the origin of Neighborhood Watch. I saw some of the most devilish torture tactics. And not even physical, per se. And we have to understand. We have to understand how we either used as tools to push us forward, to keep us stagnant, or to pull us back. And there's not many ways we can go, y'all. And you got to see what the dad went through on his job. He was always looked at as just some old boy. I can't remember, was he an engineer or what was he? If anybody know what I'm talking about, correct me. And I'm always going to say that. But I can't remember. But he had a job that was able to put him in this all-white community, right? It was a good paying enough job. And he comes in, oh, excuse me, to start his first day. And the receptionist is treating him like he's a janitor, right? I got to see how both of their children went to school or how they dealt with being in that environment. And This is all things that we have to think about because in us being this circle, getting back to the topic of this video, what's the topic of this video? The cracks in the circle. In this circle, it is man, woman, and child. No matter what none of these people saying on this internet, we can't break up our circle because of how they are turning up the heat in the room, if that makes sense what I'm saying. That is the unit. It's not man, man, child. It's not woman, woman, child. It has nothing to do. This is emotion. This is why we can't rise higher because we're in our emotions. Emotions and passion run together, but sometimes you have to learn how to differentiate. But we listen to talking heads like Kevin Samuels. And one thing about Anton Daniels, how come now? And if you have, correct me because I am not. I hear him in passing. I hear him if somebody shares information. So I don't know everything. I'm put that out there. So if this video exists, send it to me. But how come you have never spoken to the condition of your homie Kevin Samuels and his marriages? He wasn't married. Oh, but it was the woman's fault because she was for the streets, right? Right? What's wrong with us because nobody's taking accountability. And the erotic chicks, the ones like Princess, the Queen Maker, she shapes narratives for all black men. And there's no love behind what this chick is saying. It's no love. I know the Queen Latifah set it off vibes. You can't fool me. These people are agents of chaos. They have a vested interest to push differences. We always gonna have differences. Like I said, we have to differentiate between is this person passionate or is this person full of it? Is there love behind this person's message? Or is it self-gain? Everything should be for you because we're balanced people going back to this circle. We're not gonna get away from this circle. But once that circle is broken, we done. And this circle got so many chops, it's almost in pieces like the scramble for Africa. So what I'm saying is you have to listen to the messenger. What y'all always say when somebody trying to bring y'all truth. When somebody's speaking about who you like and they crazy, they say you gotta understand the message, not the messenger. Funny that when it's a truther, y'all don't understand the message. When the messenger is telling you you more jive turkey, the messenger word don't matter then. It's be patient. This nigga ain't put. I can't say he ain't put one doorknob on it because he at least bought a doorknob. But this Jigaboo haven't done one forward thing. He can't give. I've never seen this. This is why we're so gullible because our circle is broken. So our trust in each other, fear and distrust. Did he not say that in that? Did I not read fear and distrust? Fear and distrust. This is what these guys operate on. Don't never get with her again. You know, you run through them and you see it in the comments. I'm a person, I'm active. I don't live on social media, but if I'm on, I read comments. I'm active in that way. And the insecurity is when you say, black women, I love you. Oh, he a simp. Oh, they ain't gonna love you. You doing all this pandering and she ain't gonna give you none. Who said all that? But when you remove yourself from your feelings, you able to understand some things them guys say is right. But some of them things, come on now. We both got to look at our shit. Because just like they're manipulating women, females, because I think a woman is the highest level. She's good with herself. She don't feel the need to tear down her man. She don't feel the need to always tell her man she don't need him. She ain't too big to apologize. She don't hold grudges. A goddess is woo. But there's evolutions, just like the evolution of a man. He's not leading with his ego. He don't lead with his phallus. Especially if you're in a relationship. He's not married in single women inbox. She's not in other dudes' inboxes if she's with you. Because there is no one way that everybody relationship should go. Now, if you're cool with people cheating, and the reason I said that because it's like now, it's like you have these relationship gurus that they sell you this monolithic way almost in a sense. I agree with some things. One of the videos was sent to me was a female who was saying that she was with a good guy, but he just, no matter what he did, that just wasn't her dude. And even after they broke up, he was still continuing to send her flowers. Now, and the dude Daniel said that's simp behavior. The only reason, and I don't even disagree with him, right? I don't disagree with him. But I think that word get thrown around so loosely, right? I think every time you comment, every time you do something to show that you're not anti-woman in your emotions, in your ego, you can be labeled simp. Anything other than outside your ego and you being the man at all times, this stuff is, what does this have to do with us? Everybody watched that movie, Leave the World Behind. Okay, if they put us in this environment, how are we able, this skin? Don't bring in no Samoans, don't bring in nobody, us, the people that look like your everyday people. What are we gonna do for each other? That's why I get tired of the overused phrase come together. Because we can't even come together on certain small things. And at the helm is the children. I'm always going to come back talking about how it affects our youth. So, okay, so also you have guys that are saying, don't deal, and I'm gonna get back to that. I'm looping it around. Don't deal with women that got children. Don't be a single, don't be a stepdad. Okay. All of this stuff is subjective. Right? Because I feel it, but I can't get stuck there. I understand it. I understand when these dudes are saying this stuff, but I can't get stuck there. Right? I can't get stuck in that emotion. What you don't want to do is align yourself with the right one, because we got to vet better and pick better too. Well, what you don't want to do is do stuff too soon. Now, there's some of the stuff I agree with. Well, you don't want to do stuff too soon. And I've been in all these situations, what we're talking about. So I understand the heartbreak. I deal with everything all the other dudes deal with. But what we have to do is everybody's learning, everybody finding themselves. I'm still finding self-confidence every day because I'm not as confident in certain areas. So when you have a low level of esteem that you operate on, I guess that's what they're talking about high value man. But again, this stuff is subjective. Right? So I do agree with bettering yourself And if she's broken up with you, back to what I'm talking about, if she's broken up with you, you might not want to keep sending flowers, especially if she's like, it's over with. That's when you begin to play yourself. But like I said, I don't agree with the misuse, the overuse of everything simp, because that jades the little homies on how they supposed to treat um the young girls. And okay, let's look at the models. We're not gonna get away from Bandura. We're still talking about the cracks in these circles. So when we look at the models, okay, they got Prince Ella, who's talking about all men ain't this. This is what our youth is hearing from both sides. So our input, this is their input. Who they listening to? Young Boy. Who else? Dirk. Thug. You know he going through what he going through. I feel like I'm missing Future. And I always said that's why he's named Future, because that's who he's targeted to destroy, the future. I just effed your girl in some Gucci flip flops or whatever, however that song go. And that song was allegedly, somebody told me, was about Larsa Pippen, Scottie Pippen's ex. So she put herself out like that. But did Scottie Pippen not know that? See, that's why I always come back to a circle of accountability. So if this is their models that's shaping everything, and meanwhile the ones that talk, I keep telling you how Tavistock is the opinion, is the brainwashing center. Okay, I was reading the comments. And this is their models. All them guys I named. Okay, on the women's side, you got Prince Ella, who you got Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion. What's the new one? Sexy Red, who was terrible. Who's freaking terrible. And what are their messages? I'm FREE up nigga free. I mean, I ain't got to worry about it on me. And this is the anthem. This is the anthem for females, because it ain't always the young. It's these old birds. So that's why I say I understand, but I don't have to tear down all my people to get this point across. We are a sick people. So every woman is not a queen. Every dude is not a king. And my brother in the comments, he said, just because you make 6 or 7 figures doesn't mean you're high value. Again, somebody tell me, what is this? Because then now you saying money makes the man. But if that man no longer had that money, is he still a man? That's a thing that could be taken away from you. The real value is in us. You have to find your person. That's what I'm learning in my 42 years. You got to find your person. And it's billions of people, but is that your person? I'm going to say that again. It's billions of people, but is that your person? Your person should understand you. That don't mean it's perfect, because I know how people get, because your first thing is to tense up and give a reaction to say, well, everything, that's true. Everything is not for everybody. But we have to, this is why I say I refuse to talk about high knowledge. What is high knowledge? Knowledge on another level that's not as basic as what we're talking about. We spend our most time talking about the most basic things. But that's how the programming have you. That you must talk about the most basic, boring, same old thing. Because the people's mind haven't advanced beyond being with each other. Because we're always in a celebratory party and bullshit mentality. Like I said in one of my other videos, we so crazy that we call the portal of life, which is between the legs of a woman, Dr. Ben, Yosef Ben Yakinen, he called it heaven. He called it heaven. He called between the black woman legs heaven. And guess what Dr. Ben said? I spend every chance I get trying to get back to heaven. You talking about, Dr. Ben? Heaven. It ain't no box. The box is trash. We go from having top scholars that said heaven is between the legs of a black woman. Now you got cats telling you to find hell between the legs of a white woman. Because that's all you're going to get. That's how Tiger Woods ran into that tree. Being in hell. He let the food taste food. He went coblation that day. I guess he was coblation. That's why he hit that tree. It's just a little CP humor. But anyway, but no, on a serious note, they tell you the image of forward is overseas. Now, where you find it, you find it. I'm gonna tell you just as long as you don't find it in the same sex and in between a cave dweller. Because you're never able to be yourself with a Westerner. Because this is where we get white fragility from. So a person that's the black person that's in a mixed relationship, notice how they always become whitewashed. Notice how when the white boy, the white girl with you, they get accepted because we are accepting people. This is how we got colonized. Accepting. This is how we got colonized. Same thing that we still doing now. Inviting them to, he did the Tootsie Roll for 20 seconds. Let's invite him to the cookout. He got his knife and skinned everybody in the cookout. How did Dylan Roof get in that church? Because to be in this paradigm, it strips you of all your senses, which is how the good brother Ahmaud Arbery was jogging with no sense of direction because that good brother didn't have his GPS on that day. And like the cowards they were, they used numbers against him. KKK. They used numbers. Numbers. I'm going to see if y'all know what I'm talking about. They use numbers against us. The more we try to get individualized, the more they understand they numbers. It took numbers to come get Emmett Till, a young boy, because they know, they understand who we are. We don't. I ain't from here. I'm an FBA. I'm FBA. Tyreek told me. Tyreek is a grifter. He's been a grifter. He's been all over the place. You know what I'm saying? But you FBA. And that's not to be against my people that's from here. But you got to understand your strength from wherever you come from. Stop these games. I'm from here and make it better. What do you say? Plantation status. What it said in that Willie Lynch. Read that Willie Lynch. Plantation status. They didn't care. They ain't gonna care. I remember I was watching this Warren's video, and the dude was like his name was Geronimo or something. And he came and talking that tough talk, man. Them folks that hemmed him up. He was no longer Geronimo. He was what's his name? Andre. They don't care. They don't care about my flag back here. This flag does. This flag scares them, but it doesn't. What I'm saying scares them, but it doesn't. Because as long as we separate, as long as y'all listening to Hit That Cash Out model, check out Albert Bandura. I'm going to keep hollering that name. I believe we shouldn't go beyond, because what you do, you have all of these sensationalists. A good OG General Shaka Sankofa, he calls them showbiz liberators. Showbiz liberation. Because they got the entourage. Right? They got the popularity. I ask people all the time, what was y'all most profound humor speech? When he said the shit about the shit. Shit about the shit. You can't even tell me your favorite humor speech because you engulfed with the image, just like the Black Star Line. The Black Star Line was an image. It was a symbol of hope, just like Barack Obama. Symbol of hope, because they know that's all they got to give black people. Because we've been looking for hope for so long, y'all. Have we not? We've been looking for hope for so long. I hope it worked this time. And even though I'm not a fan of Dick Gregory, he got this one bit where he said, hope, you don't want to hear about the motherfucking hope. Hope you pay your light bill. Hope you ain't loses his shit. Hope. We don't want to hear that about no hope. But we hang our whole liberation on hope. And we put our lives and our children in the hands of strangers while we ignore the people that we know. Cracks in the circle. I didn't create Pan-Africanism. And you know something? What's funny is Garvey never even used the term. Garvey never even used the term. Garvey was just about it. He didn't run around talking about he was the number one most. We losing our way. And I'll put here to say it. Not to lead nobody, but to say what's in here. Not to lead nobody. I ain't nobody's savior. Because that's what happened. Our people get this God complex, and then they begin to lose themselves. Because we were conditioned to be worshipers, right? We were conditioned through religion. Everybody talk about the religion. Y'all gonna stop just only beating up on Christianity. Y'all gonna stop just beating up on Christianity. Because all of them have a figure for you to worship. Huh, Louis Farrakhan? Everybody got a symbol of leadership. But what was the leadership doing? That's the question. And what's funny about, what's funny about Bandura in his interview, I think check it out. I think it's basically, I can't call it verbatim, but it's the YouTube video where he talks about how they use soap operas. How they use the soap operas. And guess who he said was the model or the model citizen model, my words, Martin Luther King. He said Martin Luther King, in his opinion, was the best model for what we was at the time. And remember what I said he said is based on what the model is programmed to do. So we giving Dr. King all this venom, but he himself was being psychologically manipulated. Another one, Yuri Bezmenov. Yuri Bezmenov is dope. I think it's Bezmenov. I think. And he's good at talking about subversion. Look at this stuff. Look, I ain't saying you take that up with Yuri. You gonna take that up with Albert. Good luck. How do you get tons of people to not question and take the hokey pokey? How do you get tons of people to not question and do the hokey pokey? It's not all the way us. If you're not in your right mind, What's the key word? Not in your right mind. Being functional and how to work in this system is what you program to do. How many of us know big old stupid people that can work like a mug? Sometimes all that joker can do is go to work. Because he's programmed to be a functioning person of the society. It's about the programming. The person doesn't want to be crazy. Cracks in the circle. The person doesn't want to be crazy. I'll say that again. The person is made crazy. We wasting time getting mad, turning on the people. He programmed to be crazy. Now they frustrating. Good God Almighty. I can't even hold you. They so frustrated. But my opinion, whose opinion? My opinion. My opinion that is based on your level of clarity and do you understand that factor? That's just me. We get so upset about a person's personal view. Even if it don't align with mine, I can have a civilized conversation. What I just don't like is when the disrespect or you trying to force me to believe it your way. I'm not going to push mine on you. I'm going to say, hey, check out this right here. I'm gonna say, check out Propaganda by Edward Bernays. And tell me what you're talking about. Don't tell me something what you believe before you know it. Because now we're getting into dogma. Now we're getting into just blindly following. We all have beliefs. You know? So, and like I said, we got to be careful of these new guys. There go paper. Move back. Move. Move back. She always want to come in and she ain't got no business. But yeah, we listen to people that don't have no. We try to talk about devils and battling devils with no spiritual covering. I don't care what you believe. Like I said in the beginning of this video, they never deviated from their people. They only make you think they deviated. So just because you all share the same poverty, we're not built alike. I'm gonna find the name of that series. That's on, but it's on Tubi, and it's like on the recently released or something. But it is a. Remember I was talking about it in the beginning. Let me catch my thoughts. It's centered around these 5 black children that go to this all-white establishment. Borders. That's what it's called. It's called Borders. It's called Borders, and it's on Tubi, and it's a 6-part series. And what I want y'all to understand, if y'all look at this, is how you need to prepare. If you're gonna put your children in these Western places, prepare them. Because in this, I see how Candace Owens is made. I see how a Thomas Sowell is made. Because the first thing they do is teach you to get away from your own people, because your own people are dirty. They troublemakers. Here we go, starting to cast them differences, them stereotypes. We teach our children these stereotypes. And this kid was Nigerian. Tyreek gonna say, see, that's why people don't see Africans don't like you. It's an understanding. It's an understanding. They tell you that Africans don't like you, but not all white people are like that. Be careful of these tricks. Hey, I'm sorry to point at you, but be careful of these tricks. This is the tricknology. So let me say that again. They sell you the image of Africans sold Africans into slavery, but never talk about the buyer. So it's not the buyer's fault. It's the person that sold them. It's not the person that shipped the drugs into the United States. It's not them, because it wasn't us. But keep your eye on the person that sold it. See the technology, people. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not here to argue. We waste our time arguing and debating and talking about how we feel. You go find Sally Jesse Raphael if you want to talk about how you feel. That doesn't mean your feelings is invalid, but it's a time and a place for everything. And we busy arguing. Nana Coakley always say confusion on the battlefield. We can't understand a simple thought. But it's the programming. I only start to place blame is when the people that have told me they have come up out of this sleep and slumber, now they think it's still like the one that they trying to talk about. If you are not made aware that there's a problem, you don't know. If I don't know I'm sick, deeper than having a cold, I can't be to blame if I don't want to say if I croak over. I don't say that. But I can't be held responsible for something I didn't know. Put it like that. But once I'm made aware that I got a sickness, it's up to me to treat it or let it do whatever. And we've been made sick. So let me hit you with 3 generations. If you got 3 generations of doctors, right? You got 3 generations of doctors. The granddad, the dad, and the daughter or the son, right? What you think? What are you expecting for that 4th generation? Now, if you got 3 generations of Crips, same one. We say it's your choice, right? It's your choice. Again, this is one of these things. I'm gonna try to walk it in so it don't sound like a contradiction. Because you do, but you don't, right? And why I say that is because in opinion making and in engineering consent, they shape your choice, right? They shape that choice for you. But when you become aware, you should have different choices. You're able to make different decisions because you know it's all a choice. Does that make sense? Right? So once you've been made aware, then I hold you responsible. Now, the schizophrenic may be frustrating. But the schizophrenic doesn't look at reality the way everybody else does. So we have to understand, back to what I'm saying, the making of slaves, the models, that we can't hold on to what somebody like Anton Daniels talking about, because some of his stuff is subjective. Now, all that he say is not trash. I'm not gonna put that on that dude, because I'm not here, like I said, I'm not here to debate, argue, or make myself sound better. But it's a level of understanding. But we can't keep pointing to everybody else outside of us as better, and then thinking that we're gonna have a better input, right? Thinking that we're going to produce a better another generation. If the generation don't see nothing better, because the elders, people always say, well, where are the elders? So it falls on the next ones. And if we're not producing a better blueprint of how we should be as black males and females, why in Sam Hill do we think the next generation is just gonna automatically get it and then we blame them? And then people like Monique get on stage and say, fuck that nigga to your son. I lost all respect then. A young black man told you I feel neglected and loved. and you get up in front of the same thing Chris Rock got shit slapped out of him for, you get up in front of audience people and say, fuck him. But then when that young man has issues with his mother, they blame him and say, you got mama issues. We got to do better. And I listened to so many. I made a comment, and I don't follow her no more, but I made a comment on her page, Monique, and I said, y'all rock with deadbeats? Because, and they said, y'all, you don't know what a deadbeat is. If you don't know what a deadbeat is, you this, that. And they came at me emotionally. She's an emotional and mental deadbeat, not a physical, literal deadbeat. Because she won't get that young man what he needs, love, closure, all the stuff she get up here and talk about. But we follow these models. Once I know something ain't right about you, hey, I'm on. Because I love the truth. I don't love the person. The moment that person start to compromise their truth, I look at it like, yeah, I said truth, TRUF, OOF, truth. But I look at them different. And we just follow the person. Then we say, well, he ain't perfect. Perfection is not the. That's why I tell my little baby, I tell her, practice make better. Because we live in that not perfect to justify and rationalize us keep going on with our foolishness. Because you don't want to make better within yourself. So you just say, hey, I ain't perfect. Make better. You should be a blessing to people around you, not perfect. Y'all gonna have disagreements, y'all gonna have arguments, y'all, some of you and your people might not even like each other. But do better. I'm outspoken. I speak up. I speak against a lot of things. And truth is not doesn't get you loved. You're not popular. It gets you very disliked. But we got to think about that too. We got to really dig deep and ask what? Why? Because that, you know what that truth represents, in my opinion? That truth represents that you have to make changes now. And nobody got to make changes in the lie and in the comfort, because it's a comfort zone. You can lay there in that same spot all you want. But what I'm saying is we got to heal these cracks. We got to mend these cracks. We can't keep making more and then talking about everybody. It's like we're refusing to fix the problem and then praising everybody else for not having the problem. I don't know what context Tyree said this, but when he was like, what did he say? He wish he was, I don't know if he said Latin or whatever. I don't know. But where that come? No, first of all, it was random. It was random. But what is happening when a person don't even say, I wish I was another ethnicity, race, whatever, however you want to get it? I'm gonna have to figure out what he said. He and I saw they lit him up about that. But the first thing I said, man, what's going on with that brother that he feels like that? Because first thing I want to know, my curiosity make me say, why? What make you say that, bro? Because I want to hear the explanation why you feel like something is better than the skin that you in. Because we've been taught, like I read in the beginning, we've been taught to hate that because they got a list of differences. Now it's simp versus alpha. What else is it? I've seen about three more. Traditional versus yeah, okay. It was Mexican. My brother said yeah, okay. But now we have even more. We got even more. We have added more through the program. They done programmed us to add even more differences. Now you're against single mothers. You know what is crazy? That majority, because of how they broke the family, majority of us grew up with just our mamas. And you know the crazy part is, these cats out here talking about their mama. Think about what I'm saying. They out here talking about single mothers when most of us came from. I know I did. My mother was married, but she might as well have been a single mother because of his behavior. I watched a dude provide. I had a great childhood. This is why I don't have these issues. I had some of the best clothes. We lived some everywhere, but we lived in, look, as Charleston White say, well-to-do neighborhoods. But I didn't see him love my mom the way he was supposed to in a healthy way. I saw him buy cars, houses. Saw him. This is why I tell females, look for something other than financial providing. I get it. I've done videos about it. I get it. But we thinking so basic. That's why I said most of the time you got to talk on the most basic level. And it's not that the people have been dumbed down. That love is a man that's providing you things. A woman that getting you something. That's all you simple Negroes talk about. Exercising your options. Having all of these ones. I tell you, if them women start talking about ED, boy, a lot of y'all be woohoo. Goodness. But that's real. Everybody can throw stones, and that's what we're doing. Who can hurt each other the most? Ain't nobody messing with the puppeteering. They just up there. Ain't nobody, and you got people in there saying, look at the puppeteers. Go back and study the puppeteers. They still got you looking at basic stuff. 6, 7 figures. Like my bro said in there, 7 figures don't make you no high value man. I would say Kevin Samuels, but he ain't here to say But his minion's still alive because they used him as the model. And then I don't know why the dude got discarded, but when the message was already, download was complete, it was a discard. I don't know what caused it. I can't speak on that. I'm not even gonna speak on that. But did it move black men further? Remember I said it's only 3 ways we can go. What did I say earlier in the beginning? We either going forward, we stack, we neutral, or we going backwards. Because you think so linear. You think so linear. You don't think nothing outside of your ego. She don't think outside of nothing but what she sees. So you know how these dudes is created? Like I said, watch that movie called Board. Watch that series called Borders. They're created by the circumstance and the environment. They're created by the circumstance and the environment. I remember, I think the video is in my collection, where I talked about how I think it was Twister who he made some distasteful comment about Gabrielle Sidibe, who everybody called Precious. And I said, y'all don't even understand that. That's sister name to know her name. Y'all call her Precious. That's not her name. But she's with a white dude. And I don't believe we should call all our people coons. I don't believe that. I don't believe that everybody is a coon because they might have a white bed partner. Ooh, I know people like, what in the hell am I saying? This is different coming from him. He been cloned. They done cloned Tyrone. No, it ain't. But listen, this is why I say that. Because everybody not on our frequency. See, this is what I'm saying. We can move the bus forward once we understand everybody not you. So she's overweight. She's the equivalent of being a short man. Because how many dudes are really just looking for an overweight woman that look like her? And this is not judging. It's like how many women are looking for a short man. So Twister made an out of pocket statement, and he used her versus Bernice Burgos. Back to them differences. And the meme was very superficial and BS. She was like woman A. Gabrielle was like woman A, and it said, "Would you rather have A, who was all the things?" Remember, I said images are advertisements to the mind, and it's the message behind it. So everything under Gabrielle Sidibe represented good qualities: faithful, cook, loves you, but look at the image, right? Look at the image. Bernice Burgos got multiple kids, couch to couch, and then she a homosexual. Told y'all the female homosexual too now. She a homosexual. She ain't got nowhere to stay. So she's not a pick. She's not the pick. But you know what was beautiful about that? Not only was Gabrielle's clapback so cool, she was like, "Hey," she said, "Wow, this really effed up." She said, I used to like your music when you were relevant." She clapped back. But what I liked on Bernice Burgos' part was she was like, "Why you got to do this? This distasteful. Why you got to use us against each other?" So getting to my video, I said some people become homosexual or date outside their race because of the rejection factor. Some homosexual lesbian chick, she didn't like my video. She decided to comment, tell me how stupid I was and how she didn't agree with the message. She couldn't just tell me she didn't agree with the message. She had to tell me all these things. And where she led with only herself, because a person is not, culture is collective, right? So understanding culture is collective. It's not one person. She said, "I'm gay and I never have been rejected," or something stuff like that. She said in my comments. She said my comments was bull. My video was BS based on her. And I said, basically, you're not the spokesman. Like, I'm not the spokesman for every person for CP. Even though if I probably was in a room and people want to know about CP, they're gonna be like, "Hey, it's like ask a black guy." So it's not like I'm not the spokesman for that. But what I can say, if you're not aligned within yourself, the rejection can make you go multiple places because you want to feel love just like everybody else. Is that fair to say? So I don't believe everybody. I believe the coons are the ones that's acting like it's this the best thing that they done found in the world. Ooh, Miss Ann finally let me in the room and let me tell you about Miss Ann. I think those are the coons. Because you just can't go get your white girl or your white boy and be happy, or your Mexican or whoever. You act like Jeezy. Remember how Jeezy, when he went and married old girl, he was plastered like he had done found love, and none of them old goof troop high value men had nothing to say about that. But let him would have divorced a black woman. She would have been for the streets and this. Again, how you to look at yourself. He thought the smooth taste had food. He let the smooth taste food. He thought he had found better. This is what these goofies are saying. They're going overseas to find better. You got to become better before you can find better. How are you the same or worse talking about you going to find a submissive woman? Don't ask me one. Here come Monty. Here come the other one. Hey, big boy. Not right now. They always want to come talk at the wrong time. Yeah, but here you are talking about a submissive woman, and we got to keep it down the middle. Would you want to submit to you? You can't communicate. Half of them you can't. You might not even be. Or you might not even be able to set up a Facebook page by yourself. You almost need her to handle all your business, but you want her to submit. You see what I'm saying? We got to learn how to fix yourself. That's where the work starts, with self. You over there worried about how somebody else. If you the best form of yourself, I believe. I don't know. I'm still working on myself. I believe once you at the best form of yourself, you'll attract the best of others. Right? That's just truly what I believe. Remember, I just said everybody can believe. But we have to stop being so short-sighted. Right? And I was just like, and I talked to a lot of my lady friends, and I was saying, I'm not blaming women when I say that's what they get, or when I say vet better. One of them, I finally got her to admit she understood what I was saying when I was saying choose better, because they'll say single by choice, but then when they find the wrong dude, they didn't know. They had, now they just clueless. They Stacey Dash now. Now they just clueless, and it's like we all see red signs, red flags, and it's subjective. But what I'm saying is everybody have, and I said, and I called her name. I said, is it fair to say every female have had that dude that would do anything for them, that was just love them the way they are for anything, but some they just don't want them? She said, "You're right. I can't even." And that's not saying just take that, but then we spew this venom and say, "Ain't nobody no good." No, the one no, because what the saying is really is, damn, all these ones I picked weren't no good on both sides. I just told you how they did Gabrielle Centipede, because this matrix shapes the shapes what's beauty. Who's the sexiest? What does the sexiest man look like most of the years? Go back and look at whatever magazine that is. Is it People? But go back and look whatever magazine that is, and they put the sexiest man alive. What's the image of that? So it's almost like your image of God, right? If your image of God don't look like you, what are you gonna see that look like God? Whatever that image is. And that's why they say representation matters. But see, like I said, this is one of my great. If you go back and look at some of my first CP videos, and this was my thing, not really a gripe, but and I think I've talked about this in a couple of videos where there was this, and I think she was like Indian or something, and she had cerebral palsy, and she had cerebral palsy, and she said she tried out for a movie role based on cerebral palsy. And she said, unbeknownst to her, I always like that word, unbeknownst, that she couldn't get the role. Guess why? Because she had cerebral palsy. So you being discriminated on even in your field because you are not the image of beauty. It used to be a credit commercial. And see, I'm show you how they show you beauty, what's good and what's ugly. It used to be a credit commercial. And the good credit was the tall white boy that looked like who on the cover of that magazine. Bad credit looked like Danny DeVito. It was short, but a hole in the cold, in the cul-de-sac. Overweight. But then they tell you trans rights and everybody's beautiful. But nobody never talks about disabled people. That's why I didn't understand the whole Shannon Sharpe getting tender dick and crying all on TV. And what did that jigaboo do to try to flex on his people? Like Shadua Sanders showed his watch that he bought. Things. Well, like I said in the beginning of this comedy, I watched Dave Chappelle make a joke about disabled people. And you know what? It was one of them things because I found it funny, but then I found it jive. And he said, I'm gonna attack the handicapped people now because they're not as organized as the gays. And part of me thought that was funny because it's comedy. But again, did I say nobody? Tyler Perry has never put a guy that looked like me in any of his movies. It's always these same types. It's always the same type of females because they control most of the time. They're going to control your narrative of what's good and what's bad. That's why I always say, do black women really love black men, or do they love the image of a black man? And that's why most of us can't find love because we stuck on our types. It's okay to have a type. Everybody got a type. Everybody got a preference. The cracks in the circle, right? So it's always. Oh, I don't want a long time. This is probably one of my longest ones, but it's flowing because I feel the need to talk about this stuff. Like I said, I could come with all type of information, but in my opinion, that's not what we need right now. We need doses of love. We need doses of understanding. We need doses of being able to talk about our issues and be heard. Everybody trying to be heard, but ain't nobody listening. And I'm also being told to look at these. I've tried. Love is Blind. It's a show. I think it's on Netflix, and there's this one I've been seeing where the females pop the balloons when the dudes walking there, and it's interesting. And that was an episode of Charm School with Monique, and Tyreek Nasheed was in that episode right there. Tyreek Nasheed was in that episode of Charm School, and I think they were trying to find the Renaissance man, right? But in it now, let me show you ladies your choice when you say pick better. And I think this is the prime example of what them fools are trying to talk about, and what dudes, men like myself, that's trying to speak and say choose better. It's this example of Charm School that I'm telling you about. And I think they had to find the Renaissance man. And the Renaissance man was like the complete man in a sense, right? But they had all these other categories. They had like the mama's boy, the liar, the ex-con, all these things. But the women did not know who was who. It was, and I'm talking about, I remember this episode because it always stuck with me. And I'm talking about these women, they were getting relaxed and they was all, nobody, not even the heavyset chick that was in there. I think she was still in there. She hadn't been eliminated. So again, everybody got their own preference. Nobody picked the Renaissance man. And the Renaissance man had himself stuff together. Most of these women picked the dude that was the ex-con, the liar. Because we pick off of our sight. Everybody talk about spirituality, everybody talk about this, but most of us don't even use our spirit, in my opinion. Because we like what we like. And we live there. Fine. But what I'm talking about, in order to stop this cycle, we got to start digging a little deeper. That's why I said the problem with the dating pool is everybody's in the shallow end. Because it's like everybody over there. Because most folks don't want to swim in deep thought. You know what I'm saying? So I just want us to be careful. I'm always going to try to, in my videos, and I appreciate the people that's on with me. I see you. I appreciate my people. This probably is one of my longest videos. But and I hope the message is understood. If anybody listen to this, I hope the message is understood. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, like I said, I'm not here to preach to nobody. I ain't no preacher. Would y'all put something in my bucket if I would? But no, what I'm saying is we're so limited. We're so limited. And we are an amazing people. When this is clicking, we are an amazing people. We more than niggas, bitches, hoes, whatever you call yourself, gang, blood, and these lower level nigga titles that they gave y'all. You gotta rise to your stuff. And you do it within you. Read some books. Reading it. For me, reading is therapeutic. For me. I learned a lot. But most of that is you gotta deal with you. You gotta be able to hear truth. Everything about you ain't magical. Everything about her not magical. Everything about me not magical. But I had to really deal with myself. Excuse me. I wasn't never really. I was hard. I'm hard headed in different ways, right? But really, like somebody talking to me, I'm not just like stupid and closed minded. You can have a conversation with me. I'm level in my emotions. Now, you just telling me some BS. Now I don't want to hear that. But I have matured enough to, even if I don't, that's why I have to listen to these, because I can't form an opinion on what I heard. That's why I say if I don't know, I'll say I heard or somebody told me. Or I'll say if I don't know, correct me in the comments. That show, guess what that show? That I can take correction. This how you know y'all got fake leaders, because they can't take correction. Because they've been built up on, this is why, this is a tip. This is why you should never build yourself up on this high level scholar, because that's an image that you got to keep up. Then your ego get involved. You can't tell Umar Johnson he wrong about nothing. Try it. Because guess that's how they done blocked you. That when you even look at something through a critical race, or not critical race, but through a critical lens, what are you? A hater. A hater. Because you are observant. And you say, hey man, hold on, man. I've been taking a long time with this damn school. I mean, give time, goddamn. I mean, he been building 12 years. How long you think it take? No, how long you think it take? Not how long I think it take. How long do you think it take? And he can run this same thing because they know, they study. He's not stupid. This is why I talk. He's not stupid. Very intelligent black man. Black man. I won't say nigga. But very intelligent nonetheless. He understands you the same thing Joe Biden can do. That's how Joe Biden was able to go in that house, eat that, and get them black folk that fried chicken and eat with them like that. Because they know that they can do. What did Hillary Clinton say when she was running? She put hot sauce on her collard greens or something. They know how to appeal to what we like. What I said in the beginning, the symbol of hope. Boy, y'all act like that's the only school going. Y'all finna send y'all children to East Side High. And you ain't got no Joe Clark to come up there. but our people are so in fantasy about this school that you can't even think in reality. And guess what? By the time they come crashing like Nature Boy, by the time they come crashing like Polite, now don't nobody want to say nothing. Now you want to gatekeep. Now you don't want to say. The whole time, people like me have been saying it, because I'm not the only one, have been telling you something not right with that. And you're wanting to believe, but then you'll beat down the reverend and you'll talk about the folk that go to church. Stop talking about those church folks. When you doing the same thing, except for you, Mark, your pastor. Hell, at least Benny Hinn will give you a scripture or some anointing oil. Cracks in the circle. You got to be able to see when something ain't right to get it out your village. No, we keep talking about getting along, so keep everybody in, because we don't want to make no decisions to make the house better. So won't nobody do nothing. And it falls on the next generation. Then you talk about the next generation. That's all I'm saying. Do better, all of us. Real question. Put it in the comments. If anybody make it through this video long enough, put it in the comments. Why do you blindly follow him? It's just like LeBron James. You know, this is how cults are formed. This is how brainwashing is formed. Because you can never look in a critical lens. Every time somebody tell you, I don't know who fans are worse, Beyonce. I think the Obama fans done fell out. I think they kind of done fell off. But I don't know if it's these bronsexuals or them Beyonce fans, the Beehive. But what have they done to the people's mind that they look at these people like they know them? Somebody had a video, a brother on my Facebook had a video of LeBron. I'm talking about he was dancing very gay. And what I mean gay, I mean gay in the happy, jovial way, I think. But he was at one of them Diddy parties in the video. He was at one of those alleged Diddy parties. And he was dancing. Like I said, I guess I'm going to use gay in a happy sense in this, but he looked happy. I'll tell you. And the brother just said that I wonder what happened. And he was like, did LeBron, I forget how the brother, but in the comment, the brother said, nah, they can't even believe because you can't believe that your favorite person would do that. And you keep knowing time and time again to make it, you got to give something up. It's like it is the real mental split, the real mental dichotomy. That 1 minute you could talk about how these environments are not for you, right? You can say, that's why I said, look at that movie, look at that series, The Border and Them. So when you in these things, and you done seen, we all know the alleged sacrifices that they talk about. Alleged. And you've seen this stuff for years and years, but then you say it's based on their merit and their hard work. They earn their way. They can't stand black men, but somehow this one is the. I always like, man, and I miss energies like this. DMX when he's on Def Jam. I always like this clip. And he's talking about the industry. Woo. This is where he's talking about the industry and how it is. You can hear all of these stories about Diddy, but somehow you think Jay-Z and Beyonce different. You can hear all of these people allegedly on Epstein Island, but you can't. That's how it is. You don't know what to believe. Cracks in the circle. In order for us to hear the man in the circle, you got a man in the circle within you. All right? I'm going to wrap up in a minute. I'm going to wrap up. I really appreciate the time and the listeners because this mattered to me. I have, like I said, I've been around, and let me say this. Let me say it like this. I've been around for a while. I'm not a mainstream person, but I've done enough work. And one thing about me, anybody that know me personally, I've been consistent. I've been like this from start. There has been advances in improving, but I've always stood on the same circle because my moral compass isn't jaded by society or who I like. It was kind of hard sometimes because I was a Kanye West fan, so I am kind of one of them ones that when he say something, I listen. And let me say before I say this, I know he white. I know he gone. I know he could never be trusted. But when he get them cracks and he breaks that MK Ultra, he breaks that programming and he says stuff, you should listen in that moment. No matter, I mean, what he say after that, but you should listen when he break out and he tell you. Because that's the symbolic of the camera going off and Get Out. And the guy who looking like the Planet Peanut Man, or and I think his name was Andre. And when they flashed him, I think that was his name. And he woke up. That's that flash moment. Listen to Jaguar Wright. Listen to Gene Deal. Listen. Each one of these people are telling you stuff in different ways. And it's up to you how you discern it. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up in a minute. I think I'm done. I think I'm done. But like I said, it's just very bothersome. It's very bothersome that my black males, we think too surface, bros. We think too surface. This is what I want. Any dude, because it's hard to argue with this message. You can all you want, and you can cherry pick and find things you didn't like about it. But what I'm saying is, no matter how you feel, we all got to pick better. We all got to do better. But turning on your own and giving these blanket things and talking about all of this when you, sir, are not where you talking about. Right? I think everybody can give relationship perspectives. I think everybody can give marriage perspectives. I don't think everybody can give marriage advice. How can I give marriage advice and I've never been married? How can I give relationship advice and I've never been in a stable relationship? Or I've never been faithful in my relationships. I've been a dirtbag. She been a cheater the whole time. How can she give you sane relationship advice? People can give you relationship perspectives. So I think a whole lot of things we have to even change up how we talk. Because we got, like I said, we got all these gurus and all they doing is broken on the people pain. All they doing is getting paid and pimping the people pain. Everybody's talking about the diagnosis, but nobody's talking about any real sane way of fixing it. It's just leave them alone and go find. Is that your person? Like I said, I said in the beginning. I'm out of water. Now I'm out of water, so I might have to really go in a minute. But is that your person? Because and I'll talk. You know what? I will share insight and wisdom about my relationships, especially my last one, because that was a doozy. But a lot of it, I saw the writing on the wall. I saw the writing on the wall, then played like I couldn't read. You know what I'm saying? But it took going to therapy. It took the loss of my mother. It took all of these things to shape that. Because my mom used to always tell me, you can't see the forest for the trees, huh? What do you mean? And it's now maybe about 2 years ago. My mom been passed away 4 years. And it was probably about 2 years ago that I finally understood what she meant by that. You can't see the forest for the trees, baby. You can't see the forest for the trees. Now, what, Mom? We don't live in no forest. But I couldn't really grasp what she was telling me. You know, but I want to see better. Even if I just see by 5%. Because I don't hear enough strong messages coming from brothers heal messages. We gotta show brothers advancing. Hang on, let me see what my cat over here doing. Let me see what my cat over here doing, because he doing something. Messing with stuff. As cats do. And that is Mr. Monty messing with stuff. That is Mr. Monty. But yeah, you know, I just want to see brothers grow. I want to see brothers grow up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's such an immature energy. It's such a limited energy. And we're gonna have a whole bunch of confused children. You know what I'm saying? So I think I am done. I'm gonna shut up. But no, this was, you know what? This was dope for me. Because this is how because and shout out to my bro, man. Shout out to my bro. I don't know if I like calling names sometimes, or especially not on here. But my bro know who he is. He would always push me and tell me, man, and he found this YouTube channel. But he always believed in my message. And I used to, and if you go back, you'll hear me saying, okay, I'm gonna try to come back more often with more videos. But I had to get to a time when I was ready in myself. But I always appreciate the brothers that I have around me. I have some solid brothers that really believe in me and really push me for better. Push me for better because they know that, I have better in me. And that's what you get. Let me say something. That's what you get around. You get around some brothers and sisters like that. And y'all ain't gonna always get along because look, in our thing, we have some dope projects that we working on. And none of us are afraid to tell each other when we don't agree with something. And guess what's not present? Egos. There's an ego war going on. Whether you get a group of brothers, you get a group of sisters, and ego wars. And we don't get nothing done. This is why we have all of these groups and everybody has such bad memories from this. And I said I was done. But no, there's no ego. But sometimes you have to just really say you appreciate the brothers and sisters that really love you. And love is a verb. It's an action. It's just a level of support that's spoken or not spoken. Because if you come here, I'm at an hour and 52 minutes. If you listen at me for an hour and 52 minutes and I can't give you one solution, you shouldn't even be listening to me. That's gonna make you better. Get around you some better brothers that want to see you. They don't see you as ops or see you as competition or sizing you up. They the type of brothers and sisters that if you down, and because you know what social media has done, it make you think everybody got it, right? So nobody's afraid to say they borrow. Everybody's afraid to say they had to borrow money because guess what? Guess what your friends don't do? They don't throw it up when y'all have a difference, which ultimately turn out to a falling out. They don't throw it up. They don't throw it up. So your real ones, when you at your low state, they loan you stuff. And you never forget that. If you're a real one, you never forget that, even if you're not in a position to pay them back. You never forget. And you can pay it in other ways. Pay it in being there. Pay it in how they need you to. Get around some people that look out for you. Get around some sisters that adjust your crown and not try to knock it off. Get around some people that pour into you and not drain you. Good God Almighty. Sometimes you can talk to people and you can be so drained. Goodness. But get around some people that, that don't just want to call you when it's beneficial or when they fit the trauma dump. And now you got to hear all of this about the girl or the dude or whoever. This is me learning, and I'm still learning how to identify. At 42 years old, I'm still learning how to identify who I align myself with. Because growing is continuing. It ain't a stage that you get to and you this complete person. No, you get them superpowers as you keep going through the mission. You feel every one of them blows that you hit, but you have like a spiritual, I don't want to say invincibility, but sometimes for me, it almost feels like that, even though I know I'm not. But I just keep going. But yeah, I just want to say that I appreciate all of my people that I described in that way, right? Ones that just look out for you just because you, and you don't owe them nothing. So get around you some better people. Be careful who you listening to because these guys' platform not gonna go away. But be careful who you listen to. And if he only want to talk about one side, or if he's mentioning the brother and talking about the brother from a male perspective, but it's only to kind of like belittle him and call him names and say where he dumb or he's stupid. Real brother teach you. That might be some dumb stuff you did now. But real G's teach and not chastise or not belittle. Because sometimes you have to. I might have to get a straightening. Don't be so big. Don't be so big. You see what I'm saying? But I mean, I'm almost said too. But no, this has been dope for me. I end it and I say I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody that stayed on. Peace. Damn.